What's up, my construction entrepreneurs? A little dark outside, but I'm here early. I got up early this morning. It's Friday, payday. It's payroll day. So for everybody, it's payroll day, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about payroll day. So for the companies that's out there, that's more on a legit status, right? Maybe medium size, maybe even small, but you're on a more legit status. That means you have your payroll, you have workers' comp, you have you have all your insurances, auto, commercial, whatever, and you're paying people with an accounting system, right? So those of us that are on that type of system, we get our payroll done on Wednesday. Wednesday, your payroll gets done so it can be paid out by Friday, right? Because there's a process with this. For you ones that do have same type of accounting system, but you're smaller and you do it in-house, you can do your payroll on Friday or even Thursday night, right? Like I did. I did for one of the new companies that I'm involved in. I did payroll last night, right? And I control everything. So I move money, I write the checks, and I print out the pay stubs from QuickBooks. And by the way, QuickBooks you guys need to talk to me, especially with me plugging you guys in, right? Anyway, so and then you can do payroll really whenever you want to. But one of the bigger things about payroll, as you continue to grow and structure your business and move to these different levels, the biggest thing is payroll, right? You don't want to miss payroll. Now, I have missed payroll before, and that's one of the things that I just dread the most is missing payroll again. So years ago, I missed payroll, and someone's wife called me and was like, hey, we need money. Like, we're counting on you. You counted on us, we're counting on you. Why we don't have it? And I have missed it. And that wasn't the only time I missed it either. I've missed it several times, but that's the only time that really resonated with me and really affected me to the heart. Now there's people out here that's listening to this that's missing payroll as well. Whether you misappropriated funds, whether maybe someone didn't pay you on time, maybe your account got hacked into, right? There's several different things on why we miss payroll, but the main reason on why we miss payroll is because we don't know how to manage our corporate funds, our company funds. We don't know how to project. We don't know how to understand how to determine our overhead, right? How to determine, sales projections, how to properly, calculate, where we need to be at for this next month, and I put systems on here that you really need to check out, especially the overhead and the estimating one. Those are key things that we need to implement into our business so we can be successful and make sure we meet payroll and be able to pay ourselves. That's another thing is that there's so many of us out here that are small businesses that we're not even paying ourselves. And the money that we are paying ourselves really don't even belong to us. That's another thing. Here we are, we taking money out of account that we think there's enough in there, and we think that we can take this, and then, a week rolled around, we realize like, oh, we're short. Oh, what happened there? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have paid myself. Well, you got to get down to the bottom of that. Why, if you've been working, guys been working, why can't you pay yourself? Now, there's many scenarios on why you can't pay yourself, why you're not meeting payroll. There's so many scenarios. But one thing is that us as tradesmen, we don't want to sit down and do these numbers. And I always stress that, doing the numbers, understanding what's your overhead percentage. Do we know our overhead percentage? Our overhead percentage needs to be added to every job. Okay? Do we know our profit percentage? Right? The profit margin, what are we adding to that? Right? What are we making from that job? Okay? And then another thing is this. Are we doing enough jobs to where we can make a profit from? Right? So are you only getting paid from the owner distributions, like the dividends? are you actually trying to pull a payroll check, right? Everybody should be trying to pull a payroll check and getting paid on profits later on, right? Now that's a whole nother story there, because you need to set up accounts. You need to set up several different accounts at your bank to make sure that money is in these different accounts, and you know that once it's there, you can pull from it. But that's a whole nother video there on how to set up these different accounts and how to have percentages being taken out of each check that goes into the main account. But getting to knowing your numbers, your overhead. Once you do your overhead, look at my overhead spreadsheet, look at that video, okay? I'm going to try to post that video in the description, okay? But I need you to search up that video, how to do your overhead. But once you do your overhead, you're going to know your sales, like what sales number you need to get, and put your salary in there, and then you can kind of play with those numbers. But you'll know what you need to get by that month, right? Now that number is what you need to have in the bank account, not what you sold and what's on invoice. It needs to be already paid invoice and in the account for you to be able to pay all that in the 30-day period. Okay, that's what you got to understand. Okay, when you do your overhead numbers, that's money that's actually in the bank. Okay, not floating around, not coming to you. It's actually money in the bank, and it'll tell you where your sales numbers need to be. Right now, your sales number, right, which you need to land every month, needs to be actually in the bank. But also too, it'll also help you understand how much you need to collect every week to be in that bank account. Okay, so, and that's what's big here. That's one of the main reasons why I got on this video, is that we need to collect a check every week. Every week you need to have a check, okay? Monday, you need to make sure you get a check. Tuesday, you really need to make sure you have that check, okay? So, how do we make sure we get a check every week? One, for my residential contractors, you need to lay out your contract to make sure you get paid on a weekly basis. I don't care if it seems like you're getting paid too many times. What? Don't be afraid to get paid too many times. Don't be afraid to charge. Don't be afraid to get paid too many times. You already work too hard already. You give away too much already to not want to get paid frequently, weekly. Come on now. We put in a lot all the time. We give customers more than what they ask for all the time. Stop being timid. Stop. If you have the job, you need to lay out your residential contract to where you get paid on a weekly basis, legally, okay? I'm not telling you to do anything illegally, but it needs to be set up to where you get paid every week. You should get a check. That check should be in your account on Monday, no later than Tuesday. If you can't get paid on Monday, then you need to get it on Tuesday. You need to. It's a must. Every week you need to get a check. That way you don't, and then that check that you get paid for that week needs to be able to cover what you did that week or the week prior, whatever it is, whenever you getting paid, it needs to be able to cover the work that you already did, plus the profit, plus the overhead, right? Needs to cover that. If it doesn't cover that, something's wrong. Something is wrong. Either you're mismanaging that project, you got too many laborers out there, you're paying out too much, maybe you didn't do your numbers properly, but that should equate to what has already happened. Okay? If it doesn't equate to what's already happened, then something's wrong. And maybe you're weak, maybe you collecting a check from maybe a week in a hole collecting your check, which is fine. Maybe you're getting paid for work you did 2 weeks ago, which is fine, but it needs to cover that 2 weeks. I don't care. It needs to cover it, and you need to get paid every week. Now, my commercial contractors, right? Now, that pickles hard, okay? Because we get paid 30 to 45 and sometimes 60 days. But it's all about managing our accounts and having enough jobs on the books to make sure we got checks coming in, okay? So we also need to get fat checks every week as well. If we don't get every week, then we need to get every 2 weeks. Okay, so that means that you need to have enough jobs going on, right? Or have enough work being done to where you're getting paid every 2 weeks. Okay, and that means that every one of us, okay, all my construction entrepreneurs out there, you need to structure your job progress to where you are completing tasks to get paid from. Paid tasks, however your contract is laid out, you need to structure it to where you're completing those tasks to where you can get those progress payments on time. So you need to structure it, right, to where, hey, I completed this, now pay me. Okay, so you can always stay ahead. And now, if it's not covering, then something else is wrong there. Okay, you need to go back to square one, restart redoing your numbers and understanding what you really need to be charging here. Okay, and that's what we need to understand, is that every week we need to get a check. It needs to be a substantial amount of whatever is going to cover us for whatever work we have already done, and you need to not be afraid to collect checks. I'm not afraid to ask anybody. Let me tell you this. Let's do an update, right? So yesterday I talked about sending a crew out to go do a job that someone wanted me to do the very next day. It was like, hey, go look at the school, Edison Elementary School, Long Beach. Go look at it. And then after we looked at it, they sent me a text saying, hey, we want you to start tomorrow, but you need to send me a price today. I did the price, sent it off to him like at 4:30, right? So he have 30 minutes to get it to his customer, and then bam. So when I sent it off, I also sent in the body of the email, hey, we will have guys on site at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Let me know if that would not work. Well, sent the crew over there, 4-man crew, started demoing. I met the gentleman that gave me the job that told me to, hey, send me over a price. They want us to work. This and that. I met him at another job yesterday morning. So while meeting him, I got a crew over at the other job at the Edison School. And I tell him, like, hey, we're over the demo. He was like, what? Whoa. No, we didn't send our price in. So they were hesitant on sending their price. I gave them a price for like 16. So the owner of the company I gave the price to hesitated to send his price. I don't know why. Send my price with his markup on it to the customer. But now we're over there already working, right? So I had to pull my crew off, right? So it's like, okay, so miscommunication. This is the first time this happened. So I had to pull my crew off. Now, what does Tyrone do? I'm going to send him an invoice. You're going to get an invoice for 4 hours for 4 guys being on that job site, and we're going to discuss this because somebody needs to pay for my time, and I'm not afraid to send it. Like, I'm like, soon as I gather all the time and the time gets in, I'm going to have that invoice created. Ever create that invoice, send that bad boy in, and I'm gonna wait on the phone call or I'm gonna wait on the check. Either one, we got to talk about it, right? If you pay the check, great, thumbs up, But if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. But somebody needs to pay for that time. I don't eat that, and you shouldn't be eating jobs like that either. So anyway, the job, that's an update with that one. So I had to literally pull my crew off that job before they got the demo and anything else, and before the customer even caught them out there, right? Because the school would have been like, whoa, what are you doing here? We didn't even receive anything to approve anything. So we pulled off, right? And then we sent them to another job. That was fine. Well, we're starting the job that I met them at that morning in the City of Commerce, the one I was headed to when I was doing the video from yesterday. We're actually starting that job today. It's a small job. It's at McCormick, whatever that seasoning place. It's called Mojave Foods, and they're subsidiary McCormick or something like that. I don't know, some that McCormick. You guys know the seasoning place. Anyway, it's called Mojave Foods in the City of Commerce, and we're doing some RFP in the mop room, some drywall work. We're doing some base cold work, no painting. We're doing some when we do the drywall, it's a level 5 finish, but they're going to go ahead and do the painting. So we'll go ahead and, you know, do all the mudding, taping, mudding. No texture because it's level 5. Um, and then there's some flooring in there too, that we need to do. And I forget what else. I think that's it. You know, so we'll be over there for about maybe 4 or 5 days doing that. That's a small little job, and then we'll see what happened with the Edison school. See if we get to go back out there. Then after that one, I want to look at another apartment that burned that we're supposed to be on. I actually got to do some numbers on. Oh my gosh, talk about doing numbers. I got to do numbers for that. I got to do numbers for another house in Southgate. I got to do so much accounting stuff. I mean, the list goes on and on. So that's why I'm here early. I'm gonna get a little bit of paperwork done and get a little bit of work done, kind of setting this crew up because today is Friday. I want to get a lot done today. But let me go back to these numbers, payroll. Focus on it, get it right. Make sure you put in that time, put in that effort, and make sure you just get it done. Don't bull crap on it. Okay. Oh man. I'm gonna let you guys go with that. I'm gonna go ahead and get started here and get going and make sure that I got everything that I need here. And then we'll do it like that, okay? So oh man, whew, shucks. So we'll get that done and make sure everything is good with your numbers. Make sure that you focus on that. That is your main priority. Collect a check every week. I'm not joking about that. That's not a game. And then if you got trouble with figuring out how to do that, make sure you hit me up in the comments. Ask me the question. Let's get it going, especially for 2020. Okay, let's get these numbers right. Let's make sure we make some money. And I'm gonna let you go with that, my construction entrepreneurs. Remember, hustle hard, then hustle harder. Catch you on the next one.